Hello, everybody. Sanibonani nonke. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. Igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe. Every week ngikuzela ney'tori esiyifundayo from iy'ncwadi zethu zesiZulu bese siyeza la sizozixoxa iy'tori, sikuxoxele isitori usi-enjoye bese after-ke bese senza into esithi i-nose to the writer la-ke sesibonga umbhali wesitori simncoma ngokubhala kwakhe isitori sakhe bese siba nemibuzo ethile-ke futhi siyibuza umbhali wencwadi and noma singazi noma ababhali baley'ncwadi soke sibabone yini kodwa we hoping ukuthi one day uma bebuka lama video bokwazi ukuthi ba-responde kuwona phela. Namhlanje naki isitori engizosisenza isitori esengithathe isikhathi ukuthi ngisenze ngisenzele i-note to the writer. Leso story Uthando lukababa. Like I said in my previous video ukuthi I decided ukuthi I do not wanna do i-note to the writer kule story ngingenawo ama-resources athile enginganika wona ngoba besikhuluma ngama-issues a-serious kakhulu. So I felt ukuthi it's wise for me ukuthi uma ngizonenzela i-note to the writer nginenzele bese ngiphinda nginika ama-resources so that if you listen to a story or you read the story and it triggered you in some way and it raised certain feelings or kunama-feelings amathile or ama-thoughts athile that you can relate to, that you feel you need to take care of, and you can have some numbers to call and address those things yourself. So, Uthando lukababa-ke, it was a very, it was a story that touched on ama-issues amaningi a-related to umuntu wesifazane osamusha. It touched on that important relationship with ubaba. I think for every girl, one of the most important relationships that intombazane needs is a relationship with ubaba. And it's unfortunate ukuthi for a lot of us, we don't get to have that relationship. Some of us because obaba bethu were never around, some because it was their choices to walk away from our lives, but some they had to walk away because of certain circumstances, but some like me, it was just life. Their life ended before we had a chance to build that relationship with them. But i-relationship nje nobaba, we know ukuthi as umuntu wesifazane, it affects her in so many ways because baye bathi i-relationship nobaba wakho iyona ekunikeza isibonelo sokuthi i-relationship between umuntu wesifazane nowesilisa kufanele ibe njani. But ubaba wakho shows you ukuthi umuntu wesifazane u-treat-wa kanjani. She shows you by the way a-treat-a ngayo uma wakho, by the way a-treat-a ngayo ifamily yakho. So if ungenawo ubaba and ungenayo that relationship with a father figure, it can make you feel lost, especially mawusufika estagini where you are starting to have a relationship with the opposite sex because you don't know what the expectations are. In a way, it's like ama-expectations now asuke eyiphupho nje. It's what you think it should be, but the reality, you haven't lived the reality where you have seen an example of a man being a family man, loving unkosikazi or loving his kids or providing for his kids. So kuke kukwenze ube lost because ungazi ukuthi fanele u-expect-eni uma ngabe usungena kuma-relationships. At the same time, if ubaba wakho ubekhona but say mhlampe he was abusive or bengayi-treat ifamily yakho correct, it makes you or in the right way, or he wasn't providing. Now it makes you feel like it's normal ukuthi izinto ey'njalo zenzeke. And so when you move on to have your own relationships, sometimes you can expect ukuthi vele when I get into a relationship nami it would be in that abusive relationship, but omunye umuntu goes the opposite way where they go, you know what, I've seen what my mother lived, so for myself. I am not taking anything. So any sign, no matter how little it is, that this guy might be similar to Babako, you run away from that relationship or from that experience. So a relationship kababa is very important. And it's not only for women, it's just that the story, it was a relationship between a father and a daughter. But akukona lokho kuphela, even a relationship between ubaba ilokhuzana, with the son, with indodana. This it's very important because uma uraiser umfana, there's things that my son can look at mangimraise, but khona izinto that he can never learn from me. Khona izinto efanele ayifunde kubaba wakhe. So when the father is not there, even if other father figures are there, but khona into ezoshoda because the father is not there. Khona izinto umfana efanele ayifunde from ubaba wakhe, or at least ke azibone ubaba wakhe living impilo around yena and be able to say, okay, my father did this and I don't think that this worked, but this is what I'm going to do different, mean. So if ubaba is not around, a child doesn't even get a chance to look at it, to see it and see ubaba wakhe live around them, and then be able to decide ukuthi yena ufuna ukuphila kanjani impilo yakhe. So kulesi story lesi, indlela abayibeka ngayo vele yiyo lento eyenzekayo ukuthi ah, ubaba wakhe, ubaba Nelson akekho, akekho empilweni yakhe. So she lives in a fantasy. When she finds out ukuthi ubaba wakhe actually uyaphila usetshela, she starts living in a fantasy where she thinks ukuthi when ubaba wakhe comes out from jail, they're going to live this fantastic life. That's why she has to make sure ukuthi uyakhuluma naye imaginary, as an imaginary father, uyakhuluma naye, axoxe naye, am-update imaginary, because uprepare ukuthi uma ephuma their relationship won't be so weird. It won't be so strange mangabe sephuma ubaba wakhe, because in her mind unale lokhuzana, une-fantasy yokuthi ubaba umuntu onjani, which we find out at the end vele ukuthi ubaba wakhe uma ephuma uphuma womunye umuntu. Futhi in fact uma ephuma ejele akaphumi abheke ingane yakhe, because when you think about it, akaphumanga ejele and the first thing ahamba ayoyibheka was Nelson. No, uphumile ejele wayiphilela impilo yakhe because baze bahlangane esevasithi akazi nokwazi ukuthi ubaba wakhe usaphuma ejele. Angazi ukuthi ubaba wakhe usaphuma ejele, but uhlangana naye lapha ephathini kuze kwenzeka leyo nto eyi-abuse kuyena yenziwa ubaba wakhe, because nobaba wakhe akayazi ngisho ingane yakhe. Uyabo leyo nto? Which means nje i-fantasy abe nayo for ubaba wakhe ayizange ize yenzeke. Impilo yakhe would have been so different if wayekwazile ukuthi akhule nobaba wakhe, because at least she will know ukuthi ubaba wakhe unjani-ke ebusweni, because that day uma embona ubaba wakhe, mhlambe she could have said hawu baba, and ubaba wakhe realize ukuthi hayi bo, this is my daughter and I cannot do what I'm about to do to this woman because umntanami. But she didn't even get to know ubaba wakhe. And also I guess ukuthi umama kaNelisiwe, which ends up being u-anti kaNelisiwe basically, because ngike ngacabanga ukuthi yazi ukuthi u-anti kaNelisiwe should have allowed uNelisiwe ukuthi ahambe ayovakashela ubaba wakhe ejele, ngoba at least she would have known, she would have recognized ubaba wakhe. But then I felt like, but that's a lot of decisions that are very hard that women have to make sometimes when a man is now in prison because they've done a really, really terrible thing. Yes, ukuthi yes, ubaba wakhe umuntu, but you're also trying to protect them because, like they said, ukuthi ubulala umama wakhe. So I'm sure it would have been a difficult decision for Auntie Kanelisiwe to say, what do I do? This person killed her mother. So do I take this child ngiyombonisa lowo muntu obulale umama wakhe, which I know very ukuthi he is not a good person, or do I take this child ukuthi ayombona lo muntu regardless of whatever he did, because this person is ubaba kaNelisiwe. So as a woman now, she was faced with a very difficult decisions, which a lot of single mothers are left with, fairly. And sometimes there's a lot of families in those situations where umama womntwana has died and now the family is taking care of a child. When you're taking care of a child, as a family, you did not have a relationship with that father. And at the same time, so your responsibility is to your family member, which is the mother of the child, to take care of the child. But at the same time, you have to think about the child because they need to have a relationship with their father. Now you end up having to uh, mediate that relationship with their father when in actual fact it wasn't your thing, it wasn't irresponsibility yakho in the beginning. And a lot of the times those relationships really they die if baba wakhona is not responsible enough to take a stand and say I want a relationship with my child. This story was painful in so many ways. We know we see sexual abuse in women can destroy. It has destroyed so many women. There's so many women that are going through depression because of the abuse that they've gone through. There's so many women that have not been able to achieve their dreams. There so many women that have not been um, are living to up to their potential because of what has happened to them, because it hinders you from doing so many things because it's always in your mind. In fact, it's not only in your mind, it stays in your body. To be able to get over that, it's impossible. So it destroys who you are. Um, it changes who you are. So if you are a woman that has gone through that struggle of not knowing your father, and then on top of that you go through sexual abuse, and then on top of that you find out that the person that did that to you is your father, and on top of that, that father killed uh, your mother. There are times when you feel that, in a situation like that, how do you continue living as a woman? And there are women out there who have gone through worse. That was a hard thing about this story for me, was that it was too real. It was too real because sometimes when we talk about women getting sexually assaulted, we think that when they go through that, it's like the only thing that they go through, but they go through sexual assaults and then many other things uh, besides being sexually um assaulted. So it was a difficult story because it really just is a reality for women. It is a reality for women, and a lot of women just have to pick themselves up, and go on with life, and pretend as if nothing happened. There's so many women out there that look happy and they've made it in life. They've built their families, and when you sit down and talk to somebody one day, and they're like, yeah, one day. I was raped by somebody, this and this and happened, and this happened, and then you're like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that, because most of the time the way women are resilient, it's never written on their foreheads. That's why sometimes when people commit suicide, people are like, what? But she was so happy. I saw her the day before and she was so happy, because a lot of us are living with stuff, are living with so much inside. I like in the Baguti this story. It didn't. I think it could have ended with Nelsie ending her life. It could have taken that direction where Nelsie just ends up taking her life, and the writer could have been justified in writing a story like that, where it's just like it got too much. She lived a fatherless and motherless life, and then at some point when she's trying to make it and she's at varsity, she gets sexually assaulted, and then now she finds out that her father killed her mother, and the person that assaulted her is her father. And then at the end, she ends her life. I think it could have been justified because it is a lot. But I like the direction that the writer took to say, no, at times, and a lot of times, women will opt to live. You know, as difficult as it is to choose to live under those circumstances, a lot of times they do choose to live. And when you're going to choose to live, a lot of times you need help with that choice to live, because now you've gone through something that is big, something that it changes you, something that changes the way that you think, something that took something. It's one thing for somebody to walk into your house and, for an example, take a TV that you've spent your salary on buying. It's one thing when you're walking on the streets and somebody takes your phone, or or I'm carrying my laptop and they take my laptop or whatever. That's one thing. But when somebody takes something that is like on you, you know what I mean? They might as well just have taken a knife and cut off your arm, because nobody can explain that the feeling that comes with that. It's like it lives in your skin, like the enemy went in on your skin and took something, and then something that can never be replaced. It's like every time you think about it, it crawls on you. So for a woman to go through that and choose to leave, a lot of the times they need help with that. That's why you have to, when you go through something like that, it's wise to seek counseling. It's wise to see a psychologist. If you can see a psychologist, it's wise to call somebody and talk about it and walk through it. Sometimes even through your whole life, it's not just something that happens, like you go through that incident, you see a psychologist once, and that's it. Sometimes it's a life, um, you live with it. You just constantly, you go through stuff, and then you get triggered, and then you go and you see a psychologist, or you go you see your counselor, or you go to church, whatever it is that you need to do. But you have to know that for women that choose to leave after those things have happened to them, it takes a lot. And as a society, it's important that we support them. It's important that we support them. That's why sometimes I would say that when a woman comes and say, I have been sexually assaulted, as a society, we do not have a right to even ask how or when. We should be asking, how can we help? How can we help? How can we help you? And if they want to tell us how it happened, and if they want to tell us how much of it happened, they can tell us. But I think as a society, our responsibility is to say, how can we help you? I really loved this book, Lusanda Shezi. I loved the issue that you took, not just like it was woman abuse, but you just took it like a step further. There is elements of depression, and also that stigma of being of going through depression, because as abantu abamnyama, like they said at the beginning, I know it's when I read it, and they said uyakobona udokotela wengqondo. I thought it's okay, uyahlanya na, and then base explain, and then I thought, okay, it is base bethi phecelezi psychologist. And even for us as abantu abamnyama, if uyobona udokotela wengqondo, there's a stigma that's attached to that, and I think that we really have to move away from that and understand also sometimes we go through mental things. It doesn't mean we are mentally disturbed, but even if you were mentally disturbed, you will need help to get your mind uh, correct, or to get your mind right. There shouldn't be a stigma with that, but there is. I know that for our society there is, but we need to move away from that to be able to just say, I think I need somebody to talk to. I just need somebody that's gonna listen to me and give me advice, and it's okay, and we don't have to feel like sizothathwa njengabantu abahlanya just because we say, because sometimes vele fanele ngabe siyahlanya. Sometimes when you look at things that you've gone through and you're like, ay man, why in such sane? Why? How am I sane? And for a lot of women, it is like that. Like you've gone through so much that you think, how is it possible that I'm still sane? Eh? How is it possible that I'm not somewhere ey'nhlanyeni angiyarhlavaza ngixephula izinto nginjani because of the things that you've gone through? Sometimes we are justified vele ekuthenini sihlanye, but there shouldn't be a stigma because we go through a lot vele in life. So I did look to see some of the resources that maybe if you're feeling like you're depressed, or you're feeling like you're feeling suicidal, you're having suicidal thoughts, suicidal thoughts just means that sometimes you just feel like it's better to end your life. If you're having those thoughts, there are resources out there. You can go on the internet. I searched I searched depression in South Africa, and I found a society called South African Depression and Anxiety Group. It was on SADC. So they've got, if you go there, it's www.sadag, which is sadag.org. When you open on that page, there's numbers there that you can call when you have anxiety, numbers that you can call when you're feeling suicidal, numbers you can call if you're struggling with alcohol, because sometimes because of the things that we go through, uh, depending on your personality, some people will even take alcohol just so that they can numb the feelings that they're having, and then you end up having a problem now with alcohol where you are drinking too much because of what you're going through. So if you're going through that, if you're going through drug addiction, there's numbers there that you can call, and there's people there that you can email as well. I'll when I upload this video, I'll put in a link, and I'll put in some of the numbers that I picked up from the website. There's also another one. It's www dot opencounseling.com. There's all, even eating disorder. If you've got eating disorders, domestic and sexual abuse, there's a number there. If you're going through issues because of your sexual orientation, there's a number to call. Alcohol and substance abuse, suicide, suicide crisis, and also you just need online counseling. There's also numbers there. I'll also put a link on under this video. So if on your phone, because I know on when you open YouTube videos on your phone, sometimes it doesn't show the description, but there's a thing there. I don't know what you call it, umcibisholo obheke phansi on the right hand side. When you press that, ngoba kusuke kufingqiwe or something, when you press that iyavuleka, then you get a description. Then I'll put it there, a link for all of them. So if you need resources, you need somebody to call, you need somebody, there's even people that you can call and get counseling online if you don't want to go and see somebody and just say, this is what I'm going through, what should I do? Maybe they can direct you and give you contacts for uh, resources that are near you. But sometimes you just need to call a friend. There's always that one friend that you can trust, that you know they're going to pick up, and and you say, friend, I really need to speak to somebody. I'm going through something. Some people go to church. If there's that one person that you trust, of course, trust is very important. We know what's happening in the churches now. We can't even trust the ministers and the pastors, but there's always that one Kokeli maybe that you can talk to, another woman that has gone through stuff. And even older women, sometimes we assume that our mothers never went through stuff. I don't believe that rape is a new thing. I don't believe that sexual assault is a new thing, like it's only happening with our generation. I do not believe that. Somehow it was just treated with silence during our parents' time or our grandparents' time. I think they went through it. I think a lot of them went through it. They probably just didn't tell us about it. So sometimes it's suspicious and all that, even if she's not gonna tell you, you know what, I went through the same thing. But trust me, older women always have wise ways to give to us. So sometimes all you just need is to say, listen, I just need someone to listen to me. Because sometimes really, I have times when somebody tells me a problem, I don't know what to say except just listening and nodding and saying, no, I hear you, my friend. Yeah, I know you're going through something, I'm thinking about you or whatever. Maybe the next day you pick up a phone and say, how are you feeling? I'm still feeling the same, and listen again, because sometimes all that a person needs is to listen. So ngiyabonga kakhulu ukuthi ningilalele kule video. I hope you really like ama-lessons kule story siyawathatha. I don't know ama-intentions ama-writers ukuthi ayethini if they wrote them, because it was just for entertainment, but we're being entertained, but we're also learning a lot from the last story we learned. We're learning from this story. I'm still due to do, to the writer for lesa sitori sami engisithandile lixhosha olubhekile. I need to find leyo writer leyo. And there's a chance, guys, that we might find uPenny Chase. Khona umuntu othi uyamazi uPenny Chase, the one who wrote Uthando lukababa. If I get her, like, I have to interview her because I really would like to know what was her thought process while she was writing this book. She might have something different, totally different. The intentions might be totally different from what we got from the story. So it would be nice to chat to her one day. So thank you so much for watching my videos. Lenze njalo phela, just share with your friends, put it on your status or something so they can come and listen to the stories. And it's a the story set to, I think it says 6 now, which is Osenza Sunday. And yeah, we're moving, but move at your own pace, guys. Usibuka anytime story. Noma ungasibuka kawu-10 futhi uma uthanda. Increase my watch time. Thank you so much, guys. I'm sorry bakwethu abantu abathi ngi-uploade ku-Facebook. Ngiyastruggle uku-uploada lama-video amade ku-Facebook. Ne-Facebook page angazi bangitshela ngokukhokha u-350 for my stuff to be whatever. I'm like, no. We're not paying any money here. So I'm still trying to figure out how to put stuff on Facebook. But if you go to my page, because a lot of people were invited on my page on Facebook. So if you go to my page, not my personal Facebook, Uthando Baba Mdletshe, Uthando Mdletshe, the page, and you look for tab 80 YouTube. There's a YouTube link there. Then you just press, then you see all of the. Then you can watch through Facebook. Thank you so much for watching the videos. Yeah, and it's cool.